Because once she sees she can control your mind with her beauty or your actions with her silence, the game is over and you're not the player. You're the pawn. Machiavelli understood one thing with absolute clarity. People stay loyal to advantage, not affection. They follow strength, not softness. You don't win a woman's loyalty by being endlessly available. You win it by being the man who cannot be moved by anything less than truth, loyalty, and alignment. Your heart is not a bargaining chip. Your time is not charity. Your life is not an emotional rehab center for someone who doesn't know what she wants. If she wavers, let her go. If she disrespects you, withdraw without a word. If she doubts you, let her feel the emptiness your absence creates. A woman must learn deep in her core that your presence is earned, not owed. That's not cruelty. That's clarity, and clarity is the foundation of real connection. Stop thinking your emotions are a gift. They're not. Your frame is the gift. Your energy is the gift. Your leadership, your discipline, your ambition, these are the real offerings. That is what she must qualify for. If a woman feels like she already owns you emotionally, she won't value you. But if she feels she could lose you at any moment to your own mission, to your own standards, to your own evolution, then she will rise or disappear. Either way, you win. You are not here to entertain her boredom or chase her attention. You are here to build your world and let the right woman prove she belongs in it. The moment you stop negotiating your worth is the moment you become undeniable. So ask yourself now, not what she wants, but what you demand. Because the world belongs to the man who knows what he brings and never apologizes for asking more. And when you become that man, no woman can afford to look away. There is no power in a man who cannot walk away. No matter how attractive, how wealthy, or how intelligent you are, if you fear losing her, you've already lost yourself. The man who fears absence becomes a slave to presence. He stays silent when he should speak. He tolerates what he should reject. He apologizes when he should correct. Because deep down, he believes he's not enough on his own. That belief is poison. It kills your strength, rots your confidence, and turns you into something pathetic. A man who needs her more than he needs his dignity. The truth is brutal, but it will set you free. She does not respect the man who begs. She does not admire the man who bends. She tests, she challenges, she withdraws, not because she wants weakness, but because she wants proof. Proof that you are real. Proof that you are immovable. Proof that no matter what she throws, you will remain who you are. That is the man she will never forget, is the man she will chase. Not because you made her feel something, but because you made her feel small in comparison to your self-control. Every man has a moment where he must choose between his heart and his standards. That's the crossroad. Choose your heart and you will drown in confusion. Choose your standards and you will rise in power. The man who walks away from what insults his worth becomes unforgettable. Not because he shouted, not because he begged, but because he vanished. Because he left a silence so loud it echoed through her psyche. That silence is power. That silence is respect. You must stop fearing distance. You must stop believing that staying guarantees love. It doesn't. A woman only invests in what she fears losing. And she only fears losing what she cannot control. If she knows you're addicted to her approval, she'll test you endlessly. But if she senses your emotional independence, she will either rise to meet your standards or fade in your shadow. Either way, you remain whole. Let her go if she's not all in. Let her go if she plays games. Let her go if your peace is constantly being disturbed. You do not need her to choose you. You need to choose yourself so decisively that her validation becomes irrelevant. That's when the game changes. That's when you stop reacting and start leading. That's when you stop explaining and start deciding. And to walk away is not weakness. It's mastery. It means you've elevated beyond needing to prove anything. It means you've claimed the highest form of power, control over your own emotions. Most men will never reach this point. They'll chase, they'll beg, they'll cry, hoping for closure from someone who only respects strength. Don't be one of them. Be the man who walks not in anger, not in pain, but in silence. That silence will speak louder than any words, and she will hear it long after you're gone. Words are cheap. Promises are cheaper. She can say she loves you. She can say you're different. She can say you're the one. But unless her actions match her words with consistency and effort, those words mean nothing. This is where most men get trapped. They fall in love with language, with fantasy, with the illusion of commitment. And in doing so, they blind themselves to the truth right in front of them. You must stop listening with your ears and start watching with your eyes, because her behavior will always tell the truth her mouth is too afraid to speak. If her words soothe you, but her actions confuse you, that's manipulation. If she talks about the future but disrespects you in the present, that's misalignment. If she claims to care but never chooses you when it's inconvenient, that's emotional deceit. Every time you excuse that pattern, you betray yourself. Every time you hold on to what feels good instead of what is good, you delay your evolution. You are not here to decode her contradictions. You are here to build a life so clear, so focused, so powerful that only those who match your clarity can enter it. Stop interpreting mixed signals as complexity. They're not. They're signals of low interest, poor integrity, or emotional immaturity. A woman who truly values you will not leave you guessing. She will not make you chase, overthink, or beg for reassurance. She will show up with certainty, with action, with presence. Anything less is distraction. And a man with purpose doesn't entertain distractions. He eliminates them, without anger, without drama, just silence, just absence, just standards. This is where the shift happens from being a man who reacts to a man who selects. You don't argue for clarity. You don't fight for peace. You don't teach someone how to treat you. You show them what you tolerate, and if they fail that test, you remove access. Because the more chances you give, the less they respect you. The more you accept inconsistency, the more they see you as an option, not a priority. That ends now. You must become so deeply grounded in your standards that your life becomes a filter that repels chaos, confusion, and manipulation, a filter that only allows in peace, partnership, and alignment. Not perfection, but effort. Not fantasy, but respect. When your presence becomes sacred, her actions will speak volumes. If she's real, she'll rise. If she's not, she'll leave. Either way, you win. Your time, your energy, your future, they are not negotiable. They are earned through behavior, not borrowed through empty words. You don't need someone who says the right things. You need someone who does the right things. And if she can't show up with consistency, let her leave with silence. That's not loss. That's refinement. And every time you refine, you rise. A woman cannot truly value a man who has no walls. If your boundaries are soft, if your time is available on demand, if your attention flows without resistance, you become forgettable. Not because you're unworthy, but because you've made yourself too easy to access. And anything that comes too easily is instinctively seen as less valuable. This is not cruelty. This is human nature. When you remove challenge, you remove tension. When you remove tension, you remove attraction. And when attraction dies, so does respect. You were not made to be always available. You were made to be in control of yourself first. A man's strength isn't proven by how much he gives. It's revealed by what he withholds. Not out of manipulation, but out of mastery. When you protect your energy, your time, your focus, you become rare. And in a world drowning in neediness and emotional chaos, rarity becomes magnetic. Women don't want a man who needs their approval. They want a man who is so locked into his vision that their presence becomes an enhancement, not a necessity. She wants to earn your attention, not inherit it by default. She wants to feel chosen, not chased. That difference is everything. You are not here to constantly prove you're enough. You are here to embody enoughness so fully that proving becomes unnecessary. That happens when you stop leaking your power into meaningless conversations, shallow validation, and low-effort connections. You are not a source of endless comfort for someone who brings confusion. Oh, you are not a therapist for emotional instability. You are a man becoming untouchable because you've made your peace, your purpose, and your path the core of your identity. If she respects you, she'll respect your boundaries. If she values you, she'll value your time. If she wants to be in your life, she'll move in alignment with your standards without being reminded. And if she doesn't, you do nothing. You don't complain. You don't explain. You don't plead. You simply distance yourself until she either disappears or transforms. Both outcomes are proof of your power. This is the level where you stop being reactive and start being selective. Not out of arrogance, but out of discipline. Because you know what you bring, you know what you've built, you know what you're building. And you know the kind of woman who deserves to stand beside you must rise to meet your level, not pull you down to soothe hers. You are not here to convince anyone of your worth. You are here to embody it so unapologetically that it becomes undeniable. Never forget, access to you is a privilege, not a right. Your presence is not for the inconsistent. Your mind is not for the manipulative. Your heart is not for the ungrateful. The man who masters his boundaries masters his future. And when your standards become sharper than your emotions, you stop settling for potential and start attracting precision. When a man truly understands his value, he no longer chases validation. He filters it. He no longer needs constant attention. He commands silent respect. He stops asking, "Am I enough for her?" and begins asking, "Is she even qualified for me?" This is not arrogance. This is clarity, because until you hold yourself to a higher standard, you will always attract chaos disguised as connection. You will keep entertaining women who confuse attachment with loyalty, drama with depth, beauty with virtue. And in that confusion, you will lose your peace, your focus, your edge. That is too high a price for any illusion. The moment you realize not every beautiful woman deserves your attention is the moment your real power begins. Physical attraction is common. Discipline is rare, and it is that discipline that protects your path from being derailed by momentary desire. Any man can be seduced. Few men can remain focused. You are not designed to live in reaction to her beauty. You are designed to test her character, because character is what remains after the excitement fades. And if she lacks it, no amount of charm or chemistry can make up for it. The man who doesn't learn this truth bleeds for women who would never suffer for him. Stop being impressed by appearances. Start being impressed by behavior, by consistency, by her relationship with truth. Does she speak with integrity? Does she live with discipline? Does she respond with grace when things don't go her way? If the answer is no, then you already have your answer. It doesn't matter how much she claims to love you if she can't even respect herself. A woman's ability to be led is not shown by how well she submits when it's easy, but how well she listens when it's hard. How she handles your standards. How she responds to your silence. You must become so familiar with solitude that peace becomes your default, not her presence. That way, you are never afraid to walk away because you are not staying out of fear. You're staying because it adds value. Most men stay because they're afraid of starting over, because they've confused familiarity with loyalty. But comfort is not a sign to commit. Comfort is a trap when it shields you from growth. The right woman won't compete with your mission. She'll protect it. She won't distract you from your direction. She'll walk beside it. Choose a woman whose values echo your own, whose femininity brings calm, not chaos, whose words match her actions, and whose presence makes your life sharper, not softer. If you can't lead her, she's not for you. If she can't respect your silence, she'll never respect your strength. And if she can't challenge herself to rise, she'll only pull you down. This is not about being picky. It's about being precise. Because one wrong woman can destroy a decade of progress. But the right one, chosen with discipline, can multiply everything you've worked for. Choose with power, or be chosen by weakness. A man who cannot lead himself will always follow the wrong woman. He will mistake emotional volatility for passion. He will confuse manipulation for devotion. He will be drawn not to her essence, but to the chaos she creates, because he has not yet built the inner structure to recognize peace as power. Until your mind is disciplined, you will be attracted to what drains you. Until your heart is stable, you will tolerate what breaks you. This is why your foundation must come first, because when your standards are built on strength, no storm can seduce you into surrendering your path. It starts with emotional control. If your mood rises and falls with her attention, you are not in love. You are enslaved. If her silence triggers your panic, if her affection dictates your confidence, then you are not grounded. You are dependent. That dependency is a silent self-betrayal. It makes you reactive. It turns you into a man who waits to feel chosen instead of living like he already is. You were not made to beg for peace. You were made to protect it. You were not made to chase love. You were made to radiate it from a place so full that her presence becomes a bonus, not a cure. You must build yourself so completely that your energy shifts the room before you even speak. Not because you're loud, but because your silence is rooted in strength, because your eyes show focus, because your presence is earned, not given. A man like that does not chase women. He attracts them not through tactics, through truth, not through games, through growth. His value is not proven in what he offers others. It's proven in what he refuses to compromise within himself. This is what separates boys from men. Boys seek approval. Men set the tone. Boys adapt to chaos. Men remove it. Boys sacrifice their direction for a relationship. Men choose only the relationships that enhance their direction. If she can't support the mission, she can't be part of the vision. If she pulls your energy away from your purpose, then her presence is too expensive. And anything that costs you your power is far too costly to keep. Let go of the need to be understood by those who cannot meet you. Let go of the need to explain your silence, your standards, your distance. A real woman won't need convincing. She'll sense your energy and rise to it, or fall away from it. Either result is clarity. Either result protects your focus. The more you invest in yourself, the less tolerance you will have for inconsistency. The more you level up, the less accessible you become to what once excited you. That is growth. That is alignment. Be the man who walks in full awareness of his value, who protects his emotional climate, who does not fold when tested. When you become that man, you no longer worry about choosing the right woman. She reveals herself by how she handles your strength. If your strength makes her insecure, she was never meant to stand beside it. If your clarity intimidates her, she was never built for your vision. And if your standards make her feel restricted, then she was never aligned with the discipline your life demands. A woman who fears your growth will sabotage it. A woman who resents your focus will distract you from it. And a woman who competes with your purpose will slowly kill your progress. This is the truth most men ignore, hoping they can balance greatness and dysfunction. But you cannot build an empire while defending your throne from within. Your life requires harmony, not perfection, but alignment. A woman's beauty is irrelevant if her presence brings tension. Her words mean nothing if your mind feels heavy when she speaks. Her love is useless if it comes with disrespect. Too many men get lost in what looks good, forgetting to measure what actually supports their mission. You don't need someone who completes you. You need someone who complements you. Who understands silence, who respects distance, who doesn't need to be entertained because she's secure in her own presence. That is partnership. Everything else is noise. To attract that, you must become that. You cannot expect to find peace in someone else if you have not built it within. You must sharpen your focus, elevate your habits, reinforce your standards, because the right woman is not drawn to chaos. She is drawn to structure, to purpose, to a man who doesn't need her, but chooses her from a place of stability. She doesn't fall in love with potential. She falls in love with presence, and when your presence is powerful, shallow games collapse around you. Let your energy speak so loudly that only the emotionally mature can understand it. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop justifying your standards, you reclaim time, you reclaim peace, and you reclaim the ability to walk away from anything that violates your self-respect. This is not detachment, it is self-preservation. Because not every woman deserves access to the man you've worked to become. You are not defined by your past. You are not limited by previous failures. But you are shaped by what you allow today. Every moment you tolerate disrespect, you shrink your own potential. Every second you stay in the wrong energy, you delay the future you were meant to build. Stop waiting for her to change. Stop hoping for signs. Her actions already told you everything. Now, you move differently. With precision, with power, with peace as the non-negotiable foundation. A man who moves with peace cannot be controlled through emotion. A man who walks with purpose cannot be led into chaos. And a man who knows his worth no longer begs to be understood. He simply aligns with those who already do. This is your new standard. This is your new edge. Hold it, or lose everything that matters trying to please what never will. If you want to experience peace, you must first have the courage to choose it. That means walking away from anything that threatens it, even if it's beautiful, familiar, or once felt right. The most dangerous trap a man can fall into is clinging to someone out of habit while calling it loyalty. You owe no one your future just because they were part of your past. Growth demands that you stop trying to revive what no longer feeds you. Love without respect is corrosion in disguise. And desire without alignment is just a slow form of self-sabotage. When you begin to protect your energy like it's your kingdom, everything changes. You stop explaining your silence. You stop apologizing for your standards. You stop allowing emotional manipulation to disguise itself as intimacy. That shift terrifies people who are only comfortable with your weakness. They thrived on your confusion, on your need for approval, on your willingness to keep the peace at the cost of your inner fire. But when you finally say no, when you cut off access to the version of you that tolerated chaos, they'll call you cold. They'll call you selfish. Let them. The man who lives for validation dies by it. There is power in being unshakable, not from pretending nothing affects you, but from building yourself so thoroughly that external storms can't reach your core. That kind of strength repels what's shallow. It filters out the unqualified. It attracts not the loudest, but the realist. And it forces anyone who enters your space to rise or disappear. That is the gravity of a man who knows what he brings to the table. He is not bitter. He is not cruel. He is simply not for everyone. And that's the point. Stop seeking compatibility with dysfunction. Stop lowering your standards just to feel connection. A woman who truly sees your value will never ask you to shrink. She won't play games with your time, your mind, or your mission. She will understand that your focus is not a threat, it's a foundation. That your ambition is not arrogance, it's alignment. That your silence is not distance, it's depth. And she will either match it, or she will remove herself from the room. That is the standard you must carry forward. One that prioritizes peace over attention, discipline over desire, alignment over attachment. You are not in this world to lose yourself in people who never learned how to handle someone like you. You're here to lead, to build, to protect the vision no one else can see but you. And that vision is too sacred to be compromised for comfort. The woman you choose must sharpen you, not soften your edge. She must challenge you to grow, not pull you to settle. If she cannot meet you where you are and rise with you, then she cannot walk beside you. Let your standards be the gate and your purpose be the guard. Because when you honor that, you don't just choose the right woman. You build the right life. The man who cannot control his appetite becomes a slave to his distractions. And the most dangerous distraction is a woman who flatters your ego while weakening your discipline. She will praise your ambition, then poison your focus. She will feed your desires, then drain your drive. She doesn't come to build, she comes to be entertained. And if your need for affection is louder than your commitment to purpose, you'll trade everything you've built for moments of validation. That's not love. That's self-abandonment dressed in temptation. You must understand the cost of being ruled by emotion. When your mind bows to lust, your legacy is sold in pieces. When your decisions are led by impulse, your vision rots in the shadows. There is no power in indulgence. True power lies in restraint. The ability to look temptation in the eye and say, "You are not worth the detour." That is strength. That is control. That is what separates the average from the elite, because the average man chases what feels good. The elite man moves only for what aligns. You do not rise by giving yourself to everything that wants your attention. You rise by becoming selective. Who you allow into your space, who you allow into your mind, who you allow into your bed. This is sacred ground. Not because you are perfect, but because you've paid the price to get here. Every wound, every failure, every sacrifice forged a man that is no longer available for chaos. If she cannot walk in peace, she has no business entering your kingdom. This is not about isolation. This is about protection of energy, of focus, of time. A woman who drains you will never be worth the pleasure she gives you. A woman who distracts you will never be worth the comfort she offers. And a woman who disrespects you will never be worth the image she presents. This doesn't matter how attractive she is. If her presence creates confusion, that's the only clarity you need. The right woman does not leave you guessing. She leaves you grounded. Raise your standards until they intimidate those who come with hidden agendas. Raise them so high that only those who value peace, discipline, and purpose can reach you. Let your life become a filter. Let your habits expose the incompatible. Let your silence repel the ones who only understand noise, because in that silence you find yourself. And when you are fully in tune with yourself, no one can seduce you away from your truth. Every choice you make is either building your empire or burning it down. There is no neutral ground. If she is not building with you, she is costing you. And if she costs you peace, she costs you everything. Keep your circle clean. Keep your energy guarded. And never forget, the woman you choose is not just a partner. She is either your reinforcement or your undoing. Choose like your future depends on it, because it does.